Kent County, Michigan. On slick, snowy roads, a car thief tries to give officers the slip. But his driving skills don't match his arrogance. He skids into an embankment and spins head first into his pursuers. The wild suspect hammers a cop. Then floors it in reverse, right into a pole.
Because he had a four-wheel drive vehicle, he was able to back up, drive himself out of the snow-covered ditch, and then continue northbound.
Despite his clunky maneuvers, the offender is now feeling invincible.
Even though the roads were snow-covered and wet, the suspect amazingly was able to reach speeds up to 100 miles per hour.
But his overconfidence and his recklessness soon do him in. As the cocky wheelman hits a turn, he loses control and rides up onto a pile of snow. He ditches his four-wheel drive in favor of his own 2 feet.
After he crashed, he began running through the field on foot in an additional attempt to elude the police.
He doesn't get far. The perp thought he could skate these icy streets to freedom. Instead, his chilling flight lands him in the cooler. Nothing can trigger horror on the highway as fast or as frightening as a big rig gone wild. In Ohio, a wet freeway, he's suddenly hit by a tornado of terror. A semi skids across the drenched pavement, hurtling over a median, and ramming through a fence into oncoming lanes. As approaching cars slam on their brakes, the 18-wheeled missile thunders through another barrier and over an embankment. Its rear end lifts 6 feet off the ground as the massive rig plummets into a ditch. The calamitous crash was triggered by a jackknifing delivery truck. Thankfully, no one was hurt when a simple downpour nearly caused a wave of destruction. But too often, trucks in trouble take others with them. On this quiet city street, a bad driver starts a nasty chain reaction. A passenger car loses control and T-bones a rig in an intersection. The tractor-trailer rockets across the street and obliterates 2 parked cars. Fearing the worst, the trucker races to check on the other driver. But incredibly, the motorist is unharmed. But not every large vehicle crash goes so well as on this curvy mountain disaster. The hulking van can't slow down on the steep downgrade. When the operator hits the brakes, it's too late, and he skids out. The vehicle spins almost a full circle and collapses on its side with such force that the driver is thrown from the cab, injured but alive. It's just another reminder that when road conditions are bad, even the mightiest vehicles are at risk. And when that happens, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Travelers Rest, South Carolina. A loaded driver is about to take the phrase blind drunk to a whole new level. Distracted by the cops on his tail, the man slams into a stalled truck, crumpling his hood up over the windshield. Amazingly, the collision barely slows him down.
Man, I couldn't believe when his hood popped up like that and he just kept going. I thought for sure he was going to stop right there.
Now Officer Chris Gilbert can only watch as the sightless boozer turns each passing car into a potential head-on fatality. He makes a wide right turn, almost T-boning another motorist. Then he ricochets down residential streets, doing bank shots against the curbs.
I was hoping that he just wouldn't hit somebody and kill somebody and just try to stay with him until hopefully he would stop.
But in a night of bad decisions, he's about to make the worst one yet. He tumbles out of his moving car and right into Officer Gilbert's hands.
After he hit his head, he did try to stand up, like he was going to try to run, but he got a hold of him. By that point, he couldn't go anywhere.
And while the suspect's vision was impaired, much to Gilbert's surprise, his mouth is working just fine.
After I got the suspect handcuffed, he said, "Officer, I know I'm in trouble because I've been drinking." And not only had he been drinking, he's actually the third time he had been charged with driving under the influence.
Talmadge Almond is convicted of his third DUI and failure to comply. But he's lucky he wasn't seriously injured after his run-in with the law left him flying blind and seeing stars. Still ahead, a two-wheeled speed demon suffers a four-wheeled pounding. On Most Daring, horror on the highway.